Okay, everyone, welcome to another episode of To the Rink podcast. This time we're at episode number 63. Puffy, who's number 63 out there on the ice?
Well, the most famous 63, it's not a very popular figure in Toronto. It's Brad Marchand, Boston Bruins, number one agitator. He loves to piss Leaf fans off. He did a great job at it. I actually think he'd be a tremendous Toronto Maple Leaf if he ever came
Just
here.
about to say, I think every Toronto Maple Leaf fan hates Brad Marchand, but would love him if he came to the team. It's one of those situations.
He'd be like Darcy Tucker on steroids here, but you never know. Boston's having a tough year, so they might move him, but I would very highly doubt it would be to Toronto.
Yeah, he's a Canadian boy though, right? He's from
he's
Nova
from
Scotia?
The East Coast.
He's from Nova Scotia, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't really feel like a Nova Scotian because Nova Scotians are like nice, and he seems like a little bit, an agitator, as you know.
I think he's a really nice guy. I think he's just on the ice. He's just a different.
He just puts it out on the ice. Yeah. That's good. All right, number 63. There you go. I was actually at the Leaf game tonight.
Nice. I was working those games.
Yeah, it was great. We had a great time. They won, so this will post tomorrow. But so spoiler alert, everyone. They beat the New Jersey Devils. They were losing for most of the game.
Yes, they were.
And they finally tied it up, and then they went in. And the stress, I'll tell you, Puffy, I had some stress at the game because we decided to record this podcast post the Leaf game.
Yes.
So, I was like, okay, that's fine. We can do it. But I'm with my son. These are tickets he got for Christmas. I'm like, the only thing that's going to throw off our plan is if they go into overtime. And of course, overtime. And
see, I didn't feel the same stress because I knew you were at the game. So I knew you're going to be late too.
Well, I was fine with the stress. If it was a normal night, I would be fine with it because we could just text. But tonight, for those that don't know, we actually recorded a pod before this pod with an interview.
Yes.
And so we had a guest waiting.
Yes.
So immediately when it went to overtime, I pulled out my phone and I texted our guest and I said, listen, it's hit overtime. I told you we were at the game. Puffy's working the game. I'm at the game. Stay tight. But hey, we did it. 10:30 was our timeline and we hit it. Like we weren't bad. We got in it because the Leafs won pretty quickly.
Yes. It was a beautiful, beautiful overtime goal. But it was funny, like we were laughing behind the scenes because we were setting up our post-game hit. And at the time, it was 3-2 for the Devils. And so it was all like negative, team sucks, and then all of a sudden they come back and win. And it's like, superstars showed up.
Yeah, Leafs are the best.
Great.
Yeah, Austin, Willie.
One, so.
Yeah, we had a great game, a great time. We got some tickets for Christmas. My son got them, and so I got to be the beneficiary of those tickets with him and took them down. Yeah, we went. We hit the Shake Shack in Union Station beforehand.
Oh, yes.
Have you been there yet?
I haven't been to I haven't been to that Shake Shack yet, but I think I might be going tomorrow.
It's fantastic. I'll give it a 10 out of 10 review. Yeah, great fries, great burger. Cliver had the milkshake. Fantastic.
That's awesome.
And then we went to the game. We saw our friends, Zoe and Ryan, who are on the U9 Ted Reeve Tornadoes team with us. And
nice.
We had a great time. We hung out with them in between intermissions, and which was really nice. Yeah, it was really great. And so we had a great time. Overall, fantastic night. And we made the pod happen, and here we are. And I know Stoff is in the background waiting for us to talk faster so he can just go to bed.
Yes, but the Leafs had a great result tonight, but there was a tremendous result in the GTHL, and that is the U13 AA Ticats.
And tell me about it.
Winless, pointless until tonight.
Oh, my gosh.
When we pulled off a 2-2 tie at Don Montgomery against the Scarborough Ice Raiders.
Nice.
We were up 1-0, 1-1, 2-1, 2-2, but we played well. We deserved the point. We maybe deserved two, but we definitely deserved the point. So congratulations to my Ticats.
Yeah.
I unfortunately wasn't there. I was working, but I was following it along in Live Barn, and shout out to my mother-in-law, Wendy, who is texting me the score and the time left because I couldn't really make it out on the scoreboard at Don Montgomery on Live Barn.
Right.
But
that's good for that's Austin's team, obviously.
Austin's team, yeah. So very exciting. We're on the board.
You're on the board.
Onwards and upwards, yeah.
That's it. That's exciting. It. Well, isn't and Puffy, maybe correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't tonight or sometime around now? Isn't in our division the Avenue Road Ducks playing the Forest Hill Force?
I
soon?
looked that up. It is not this week. It is, I believe, next week.
It's next week. Okay, that's a big game.
It's within the 2. It's within 2 weeks.
But I'm going to talk about. Yeah, go ahead.
I showed up and watched a little bit of the Ted Reeve U16.
Well, let's talk about this. Let's talk
Thunder.
About this.
And when Barrett and I walked in on Sunday night, the Thunder were winning 2-1 over the Ducks.
So destiny was in our hands. Ted Reeve, Thunder had it. And so for those listeners that don't know, just a quick background here, the Avenue Road Ducks completely dominate the U16 single A division of the GTHL East.
Yes.
They are clearly the number one team and over the course of the last few years, they have made this gap to first place pretty significant. Yes. It used to be like Don Mills. We were up there with them. Mm-hmm. And then it kind of turned into Avenue Road Ducks. And then over the last, I'd say 18 months, Avenue Road Ducks have just created this huge space between them and everyone else. And they have some very dominant players. Jacobs, which we've talked about multiple times, but it's not only him anymore. No, I mean, there's a variety of kids on that team that are quite great players for sure. However, last Sunday, you showed up.
Yes.
Ted Reeve goes into it. And usually our team is a great team. We love our team. The kids have played together for a long time. And, which is, when we face Avenue Road Ducks, sometimes we're already, I don't know. Nervous isn't the right word. Defeated isn't the right word, but we go into it knowing it's going to be really tough. And when that happens, we come out one of two ways. One sort of, so worked up over it that we're confused on the ice and we're not necessarily making the passes or making the plays, and we kind of just get crushed out of the gate. And it's a thing that we don't like to watch, and it just happens. And we fight back a little bit and whatever. But this time, and it's not rare, but this time we came out firing. We came out hot. Our team was speedy. We were beating them. We were passing the puck. We were moving the puck. We were doing everything you should. And most of the game, we were up. We were up throughout most of that game. And we, as a parent, I was so excited and, to just say, oh my gosh, this is really going to happen. We're going to beat the Avenue Ducks, which we've done in the past, like 2 years ago and in a tournament about a year and a half ago. But over lately, like, as you know, they're not. They've just really dominated us. And but anyway, in the final period, in the final few minutes of the period, they tied it up, and then they took a point lead, and then we pulled our goalie, and then they put one in with an empty netter, and the goal ended up finishing it off. Yeah,
they come through when it matters.
Yeah, and they did. They did. Boys. Yeah, well, the boys could taste it. The boys could taste it. I know on the drive home with Ozzy that night, he was. Upset's not the right word, but he was disappointed in it. And he really wanted to put that win in it. And, so hopefully that's a good drive, because we've got, that's really our only game since the last time we've talked. We've had a couple practices, but that was our game. The Avenue Road Ducks, we really came in hot. We really held them, but which was great about it, because it shows that our team has it. Like, we can do it. It's just about, can we keep it up? Can we have the consistency, and can we sort of, if we do go down, sort of lock back in and go? And, the team's really great. The kids are all fantastic. And I'm a big fan. They're my number one team. That's my favorite team in the whole world. It's the Ted Reeve, the single A, U16, single A. But my favorite team in the whole world. Then it goes Leafs and Raptors and, Jays, Argos, but that's at the top of the list for me.
That's the number one. That's awesome.
How about you? What else you guys got going on? What have you guys been up to?
Barrett's team's going through it with they got whatever that virus that's going around. Probably rhymes with COVID, but everyone
rhymes with COVID.
Yeah, it's sweeping through the team, but they had a couple of big wins on the weekend and a couple nights ago, so they're in first still, 2 up on Young Bruins, who are playing really well. They're coming on hot, so it's going to come right down the wire, which is always fun.
That's great. That's good. Yeah, we're. I feel like we had a lot of games in the fall with our team, and now we're in the like one game a week right now, where historically we've been playing a lot. So we only have another game this week on Sunday. We're playing Vaughan East, which hopefully we've lost to the beginning of the season, but it was a bit of a rut when we did that. So hopefully we come out of that and come back and win. And then, we're back at it right through the end of the month and into February, which is great. And then Clive's team, we've had a big change, which was on January 9th, so a week ago. We've gone to full ice. We're a full ice team.
It's amazing.
It's over. The half ice is done. Now we're playing hockey, and it's a big win. That's a big win for me.
Have you noticed that kids on the team that it's improved their game by being a full ice? Now they have more room to move, or is there some kids that were playing really well and now are struggling a little bit with the?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think overall, I would say the overall score of our team is we've been waiting for full ice, and I would say full ice has been an advantage for us. Nice. We've been able to really take advantage of the more space, really take advantage of being able to use the boards and play, allow us to be able to pass the puck. And, kudos to our coaching staff. They've done a great job of sort of prepping us and doing some exhibition games and some practices and stuff. But I actually think full ice has been really great for us. And, we've been playing, that team's been playing really well. It's awesome. Again, we feel very blessed to be with that team. And we're at the end, we're halfway or more than halfway through the season, and we're talking about next year and all that kind of stuff. So it's good.
Well, not till after February.
Not till after February, whatever, March or whatever. But I think everyone's excited about the team and what we can do, and it's a competitive. I think it's a real competitive team, which is great.
Awesome.
And the kids are all into it, and it's a great. They've got a great connection, this team, which is cool. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. We did, Will. I don't know if you saw, I posted the other day. I was up at Rinx. Have you ever been to Rinx?
Yeah, I saw that. I'm sure I have, but
kudos to them for
saying I've only been there once, maybe.
Yeah, they got rid of the K and they said, we're just calling it with an X, first of all. Rinx, RINX.
How many pads is it?
4 pads, but when you go to a Canlan or to a Buckingham Sport, there's some organization to the 4 pads. Yeah. There's no organization. This is like the labyrinth. This is like final boss level labyrinth on where the 4 pads are. It's like really hidden. Now, I made that comment on Instagram, and some people are like, "Oh, it's not that hard. Just look around." But no, when you walk in, it's like Rink 1's here. You go through this weird hallway and up a set of stairs to find Rink 2, and then you go past Rink 2 to get to Rink 3, and then you circle around and Rink. It maybe from a bird's eye view or something, it's pretty organized, but it felt very new, very cold, and no snack bar or anything like that open.
Really?
But and limited parking as well. So I'm not hating on it. I'm just saying be prepared when you go there. Actually, it was a decent facility, but it was a little confusing. Make sure you got to fight for some parking. And if you want a coffee or something, you got to bring it yourself.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I don't like rinks because those are my biggest things. I hate limited parking, and I want to be able to purchase a beverage.
Yeah. It's up there on Orpheus Road. You ever been up on Orpheus Road? You know that area?
No.
Yeah, it's like Rinks. Near Yorkdale. Back years ago, I'll tell this story quickly. I used to call on them as a beer rep in that area. And I had to call on Mr. Orpheus, who owns all those buildings and facilities in that area.
Really?
And I had to call, I did a sales call to him to try to sell beer to like the Rinks, and he has a bowling alley there, and he has some other centers there or something like that. And I've never been more intimidated when he walked in, and he was wearing, is it called an ascot? It's not a tie. It's not, it's like when you're not prepared for someone to walk into a meeting with an ascot on, and then someone walks in with an ascot on, it throws you off, right? It's a bit of you got a bit of a pivot on that.
Yeah.
You can't just go into a sales pitch when someone walks in with an ascot, and no one under 65 wears an ascot at all.
That's true.
No one does.
I'm not
I might bring
ascot years.
Yeah, well, maybe we should just bring it in. We should
start doing it. Do a podcast with ascots on.
We should. But anyway, that was Rinks. We were up there. We played the North York Knights. We didn't win that one, but it was a 1-0 game, and But it was a good effort, and all good. So anyway, lots of hockey going on. I know we're running into February here. We're running into trying to get our playoff standings and stuff. I think it's time we run over to our good friend Stoff, hit the stock market. What's up? What's down? What's hot? What's cold? What's selling? What are the blue chips? Here he is, the man himself, Stoff.
How's it going, gentlemen? Pleasure to be here as always. Just to add to the conversation earlier on, I did once play a men's league ball hockey final at the Rinx.
Oh, nice.
So,
nice.
Yeah.
Did you win?
And
no, we did not win.
No.
So
did you get parking?
We got parking, but I do remember it being difficult. Not a big parking lot there. So
I don't like that.
Yeah,
Rinx.
And we also we were not served coffee on the way in or the way out. So.
Yeah, you couldn't even find anything. There was nothing even there for you to have.
Yeah, so I guess Rinx thumbs down is the verdict there.
Yep.
All right, well, moving on to the stock market here. We are officially in the push for the playoffs as most teams have under 10 games left in the regular season. Playoff spots are getting clinched. Teams are jockeying for position throughout the standings. And as is now tradition, let us start in the U16 AAA. How are things looking in the glamour division of the GTHL? Are the Don Mills Flyers staying true to their name, Puff?
Yes, they are, Stoff. We're getting a clearer picture in the 2009 age group. The Don Mills Flyers are hitting another gear, winners of 11 straight regular season games, and they now have a 6-point lead over the second-place Toronto Titans. The Titans suffered just their fourth regular season loss in their last game when they were upset 3-0 by the fourth-place Vaughan Kings. Stoff, you'll love that, at Scotia Pond last week. The Flyers and Titans will face off again next Tuesday at Scotia Pond, where DMF win will all but clinch another regular season title for Ontario's top AAA team. Before they face off in the GTHL play, both teams will take part in this weekend's Oakville Rangers Winter Classic along with JRC.
Ooh, sounds like a big tournament week ahead for the top U16 AAA teams. But how about the U15 and U13 AAAs? How did the G teams fare at last weekend's Silver Stick Finals? Little Caesars didn't buy themselves another title, did they, Puff?
Well, Stoff, maybe they did. The cream of the crop were taking part in the AAA Silver Stick Finals last weekend in Port Huron, and the hockey did not disappoint. G teams were well represented at both age groups. At the 2010 U15 division, a mild surprise when the top-ranked team in Ontario, the Mississauga Senators, failed to qualify for the quarterfinals as they went 2-2 in round-robin play, although they did have a very tough draw. Of the 6 G teams involved, only 3 made the quarters. The Markham Majors beat JRC in the quarterfinals, while the Vaughan Kings beat the Chicago Fury 6-2 in another. In the semis, the Kings ran into the buzzsaw that is the Little Caesars, falling to the number 1 ranked team in the U.S. 5-1. And boys, did you know that the team budget for the Little Caesars is $1.1 million? That is an insane number. Markham took care of the Chicago Mission 3-0 in the other semi, setting up an epic final between the 2 best teams in North America in this age group over the past couple of years. And just like the World Juniors, it was the Americans coming out on top 5-3 in the final. Congrats to Coach Ryan Kessler and his Little Caesars. In the 2012 age group, 4 G teams managed to make it to the quarterfinals, with the North York Rangers beating the Chicago Reapers 7-1. JRC beating DMF 5-1, and the Toronto Marlboros lost 5-4 to the Chicago Mission. The semis turned out poorly for the G teams as the Rangers lost to Montreal Cupper Academy 3-2, while JRC fell to the eventual champions Chicago Mission 3-2 as well.
Darn, we're feeling those tariffs early, boys.
Yes.
Not good, not good. Finally, Puffy, anything got you exciting this coming weekend in minor hockey?
Well, Stoff, lots of great GTHL action for sure, but I will definitely be tracking the G teams taking part in Silver Stick Finals across Ontario this weekend. In the 2014 U11 age group, they'll be playing their Silver Stick Finals in Sarnia. The Vaughan Rangers, along with East rivals Ted Reeve Thunder and the East Ender Ticats will be taking part in the U11 AA division. I watched the Thunder and Ticats go head-to-head last weekend at Scarborough Village, and let's just say neither team or parent group likes the other very much. I would love to see these two teams go on a run to the finals and settle their differences on the ice on the big stage. In the U11 Single A division, the Vaughan Rangers are the lone G team to make it to the finals. More Silver Stick action in Newmarket this weekend. The U10 single and AA finals, the U12 single and AA finals, the U14 single and AA finals, and the U16 single and AA finals. In the U10 single A, Forest Hill is the lone G team, while in AA, the Vaughan Panthers will carry the GTHL hopes and dreams. In U12 single A, no G teams made the finals, but the AA division has the Markham Islanders, Leaside Flames, and Mississauga Beast all taking part. In U14 Single A, there's no G teams because it's contact hockey for Single A at the Silver Stick, and the G teams obviously play non-contact. The AA division has the Markham Islanders and Forest Hill both chasing the championship. And finally, in the Single A, U16, again, no teams from the G because of body checking, although I would love to see Avenue Road play in this tournament and see how they would do. They got some big kids, so I think they can handle the body contact. And the U16 AA, it's the Vaughan Panthers, Leaside Flames, and Ted Reeve Thunder, all having another crack at winning the coveted Silver Stick Finals. So good luck to all those teams this weekend.
Best of luck to all of them. And that wraps up this week's Stock Market Report. As always, a pleasure, gentlemen.
Thanks, sir. Stoff. There he is. He's here and he's gone.
Gone. Just like
if you don't catch him, he's gone.
Yeah.
You got to be able to get here when he's here. So question. I feel like the last few weeks you've been talking about Port Huron having silver sticks. I feel like, is there a silver stick in Port Huron every weekend?
No, they had the one last weekend for the AAA teams at U12 and U10, and U12 and U14. No, U15 and U13.
Okay,
I'm screwing it up. 2012 and 2010. Next weekend, Barrett's team is playing in Port Huron for Silver Stick, and there's a bunch of the age groups there for AA, and Single A maybe too. But then as I said, Newmarket's hosting this week for a bunch of age groups. Sarnia's got some age groups. Whitby held the finals a few months ago, I think in December for
I remember that one.
So they're all coming sort of to an end the next few weeks.
I just feel like you never hear a Port Huron. No one knows where Port Huron is. No one.
Michigan.
No, I know that, but literally for the remaining 50 weeks of the year, you never talk about Port Huron. In the last 3 weeks, I feel like everyone's going there for a silver stick every weekend.
Yeah, it does feel to me a little bit like the home of the silver stick and
Port Huron.
I'll be able to report more. We're heading there in a couple of weeks, so I'm very excited. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, it's a busy time. I know it's a busy time in the G, and it's a busy time. This is an interesting time of the year. So I would say historically, this time of the year, I was definitely naive, historically with my older son and not having a podcast and not talking about it regularly and not talking to you about it regularly. But what's interesting that I see more and more of is this is the time of year that, and I know the rules, but there's a lot of chatter, a lot of discussions about next year already happening now.
For sure.
And I know the G puts in rules in hockey. Maybe it's Hockey Canada. Maybe it's the G. I don't know. Puts in rules and regulations on you can't, make your team. You can't select kids. You can't do all those things. But we very well know it's happening left, right, and center all over the place.
Well, what I will say is that they've made it a point of emphasis that they're really actually trying to crack down on it. So I would say that there might be talk between parents.
Yeah.
But I would say most teams are probably being a little cagier about it this year. Or not engaging as much.
Yeah, well, definitely your parents. As parents, you're talking about it. Well, we're not, necessarily, but it's around, right?
Yes, I think it's around like always, but I think it's a little bit. I don't know if coaches are engaging as much as they maybe have in the past.
Right. And, but there does seem this, like, this is the time that, the kids want to, are they going to play again next year? Are they looking to change a team? When I was growing up, I just played on a team, and that was the team I played on, and that was it. That was it. That was my team. And you just played on it until you didn't play on it, and then that was it. But nowadays, there's very much a sort of a going to this skate or meet this person or like go to this thing and stuff. It's quite an interesting time of the year, and it's been happening for years. This is not new.
Yes, it's definitely not new.
What's interesting for me is, again, I'm not really overly involved in it at all because we're pretty set, or like we're hopeful to be set, and we just kind of carry on. But having had the podcast, talking to some people, and now having conversations at the rink that I never had in my past, what's happening. There's conversations around next year. It's quite interesting. And I guess my main thing is, like, it'd be really a lot of stress is on the coaches, on what to do, on, like, do you have, do you do something with it? Do you not do something about it? Do you, how do you have some kids that you're going to keep and you're trying to get some other kids, and then you have some kids on your team that you may not want to keep, and you're going to the playoffs or you're going into the end of the season, and when do you tell? Like, that's a lot of stress for a coach. Not only the parents, but think of the coach. He's wearing everyone's weight on, like, how do I carry this team forward? That's got to be a big stress, I think.
100%. We went through it, especially last year with Austin's team, where, we were doing okay, but we weren't doing we were near the bottom of the standings. And there was a pressure sort of from parents on the team, especially if some of the kids that were better, that we get better, that we go out and find other players. And we weren't that comfortable. Like, we're not the biggest recruiters going out. Like, I'm not going out to Rinx and handing out business cards or doing birthday skate, whatever. Yeah. That's just not what we were interested in doing. But again, that's how teams do get better, especially if you're weak. You sort of have to do that. Yeah. And so then we had parents bailing on us at the last second because we weren't doing enough stuff like that. Yeah. So it was really stressful
I can get it. How it's hard balance.
I'm coaching this team, and we're not done. Like, the season's not over. You're like, you're trying to get this through to the end, and all of a sudden people are worried about next year.
Yeah, but even if you didn't want to worry about it, you're talking to your friends on other teams, or you're talking about friends in different leagues, and they're talking about it. They're saying, I'm going here, or I'm thinking of doing this. And then all of a sudden that, all it takes is a couple of those conversations, and then it's just a snowball around, like, what's going, and then it happens, right? Like, it is happening. And there's competitive teams, there's competitive parents for sure. There's kids that are really looking forward to, like, see what's next. And it's this time, and I think I'm just more heightened to it. I'm just more, like, sensitive to it,
aware of it, probably,
and aware of it. That, like, it's very real on that sort of stress, and it's stress on the kids, it's stress on the parents, it's stress on the coaches for sure, on how you handle it and manage it and all those things. But the truth is as you look forward, ultimately, for the most part, if you're in the G, if you're in single A, double A, triple A, you want to be competitive. You want to stay competitive. You want to have a team, whether it's competitive within your league. And so you are thinking about, will we be competitive? Are we doing the right things to stay competitive? And then that sparks the conversation. And it's a lot of early conversation around that. But it's just a really interesting thing. I know you guys have lived it a lot more than we've lived it, but having now just sort of, again, going back to being aware of it, it's quite and
we've lived it sort of up both ends of the spectrum, where we've had, Bears teams have always done very well, and Austin's teams, I mean, we did well in our U10 single A year, but at double A, we haven't had a ton of success. I mean, we've done okay at times, but it's definitely easier to not have to worry about the politics as much when your team's a good team, because if it's well run, parents tend to want to stay, and if you have a good team, you tend to keep the group together. It's tougher when your team's not having as much on ice success, even if it's a good environment and a fun place to play, and the kids are getting better and enjoying it. There is sometimes pressure to make changes to improve your standing.
Well, c'est la vie.
But the reality is, there's always going to be a team that's really good in a league, and there's always going to be a team that's not doing great.
Right.
And so, like, no matter what you do, people are always like, well, that team shouldn't be at this level. Well, if you take them out, there's going to be someone else who's going to be the bottom team. There's always someone, right?
That's right.
So, don't sweat it too much.
No, we're not definitely sweating. I mean, for us, we're not really sweating anything at all.
Yeah.
We're at this stage pretty good. And, I'm bookend. As you know, I got the U16 and I've got the U9. And so I'm at the end of one career of the GTHL hockey. And
one's about to start.
And that's a different perspective than it was 2-3 years ago. It's about, having fun and staying competitive.
Yeah.
And but it does crest. I remember, the coach telling us, as the teams get older, there's sort of this bell curve of teams where there's a bunch of teams that get really good because as they get older, they, better players are in our league in single A, double A players come down. They want to play on a better team. So those teams generally get better, hence Avenue Road Ducks, hence, Forest Hill, hence Don Mills. And then, on the flip side, you have these other group of teams that, have won 2 games all season or 1 game or anything. And it just, that gap does seem to separate as they get older. So you can see kids or teams that are on the side of not the benefit of that, wanting to sort of remain, they want to enjoy hockey. They want to keep playing. They want to do it, but, showing up every week and getting, not being able to stay competitive, it can be, it can take you out of enjoying hockey, it can,
sure.
Right? Like, I mean, we can all say, it's not always about winning, but winning is, you want to win.
It's important for sure.
It's important. You want to have some wins. You got to learn how to lose, but you want to learn how to win too, and so you can see that separation as Ozzy's gotten older. You can really start to see that separation for sure, which then, is a whole other interesting. Now in our league, it's fine. We're single A and we're just kind of running with it, but I can see that happening for sure.
For sure.
Anyway, I think that's it though. Episode 63. We're coming to an end here, Puff.
But
before we go off, before we leave, we got to talk about our song of the week.
Yes.
And I'm assuming you got a banger for this one.
Mine is, this is one that if I was at Don Montgomery tonight, I would have tried to fire up on the old
boom box, if you will.
Yeah, the boom box. Another One Bites the Dust.
Are you ready?
Remix, Queen, Wycliffe Jean.
Are you hanging on?
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
It's just a song that, like, if you beat a team, if you win all the time and you beat a team, it's sort of that cocky, like, just another business. And then if you don't win very much and you win and you put that on, then you can act like you're cocky, like done this before. So I love that song for post-game celebration.
Nice. That's a good one. I like the remix. I like Queen. Queen was actually Martha and I's like wedding song. We walked down the aisle to Queen.
Nice.
Yeah. You're my best friend. You know that song?
I don't think I know. Wait, I think I know that.
No, we didn't walk down. We walked back. Once we got married, we walked out.
I was going to say, like, did you walk down the aisle at your wedding?
No, we walked down. This is bad. Now it's live and out in the public. I can't remember what we walked down to, but we walked out to Queen, You're My Best Friend.
Like at my wedding, I was up there already, and Tanya walked down.
Yeah, I was already up. Yeah, so same thing. Martha walked down, but then when we walked out, we had Queen playing. Anyway, big Queen, big Wycliffe Jean fan. So cool. Yeah, listen, I've got a song that is a little new. It's a little poppy. It's a little rock. It's this band called Royal Otis. Don't know if you've ever heard of them.
Never heard of them.
It's 2 guys, a guy named Royal and a guy named Otis from Australia. Nice. They've come together, and they're called Royal Otis. Royal is spelt a little weird, Royel, but it's his first name. Otis is also a cool name. Like,
it is cool.
I would like to have that name. Anyway, they have a song called "Murder on the Dance Floor," and it's a poppy little jam that gets me moving.
Oh, I love that song. I didn't know.
Do you know that song?
Was. Yeah,
great tune.
It had a bit of a TikTok run.
Oh, did it? I don't know. I've listened to it the odd time it's popped up on my new playlist. I made a note the other week. I'm going to call that song.
A great song.
It's really good. So "Murder on the Dance Floor" by Royal Otis.
I'm dancing.
2 Australian boys. Yeah, there you go. Royal and Otis. And that's how they got their name. We could just have a band called GCat Puff.
GCat Puff.
GCat Puff.
I think we'd 2-piece, just tour.
2-piece. Yes, just tour. That's it.
Just hammer out the drums.
Yeah, just explain that to our family. Not only does it we do a podcast about hockey that we have to take time out of our busy lives, but now we're on tour.
We're touring.
Yeah. Anyway. All right, Puff. That's all we got for episode 63. Thanks, everyone, for listening. We really appreciate it. I hope everyone has a great week in the G. We've got lots of games going on. Final push into the playoffs. Stoff, thanks so much for doing this. Yes. Puffy, anything before we head out?
No, just good luck to the teams at the Silver Stick and Oakville Winter Classic and all the regular season games. That playoff push is coming.
There you go. And, so check us out on all the platforms. Subscribe, share, follow, like. Send us a comment, send us a DM. We appreciate it. And thanks, everyone, for listening. Have a great week in the G.